Hi, lovers and leader fam out there. Welcome, to my recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County. This is season 19, and I'm starting from episode 9. Okay, like I said in my previous recap for Housewives of Miami, this is very new for me, so I'm kind of excited because I really do believe there's something we can learn from some of these boss women in the Housewives world, okay? And as you can tell, they're such great, some of them are such great friends, some of them really not, but in their heart, there's some level of love for each other. So let's just see what we can glean. Let's see what we can get entertained with, okay? So I'd just be curious though, for how many of you actually still watching Housewives of Orange County? I mean, I'll be curious because when it first came out, I was really watching a lot. And then, excuse me, and then I just like got over it. I really did. And I mean, it's picked up in ratings a little bit, right? All right. Anyway, so this episode is about Life's a Beach, and then you cry. So it opens up with Gretchen, okay, and Emily, pretty much dressing alike. I thought that was so cute and so funny. So they come in to get testosterone shots. Emily apparently, has been doing this for a while. That explains a lot to me, to be honest. Because even though she's a sweetheart and she's such a sweet mother and really caring friend, when you see her, from in my opinion, I just get this kind of male-esque energy from her. And now I'm finding out in this season 19, episode 9, that she takes testosterone shots. Now that explains a lot. Even though she says, with these testosterone shots, she's able to like work out better because, she likes exercising and she looks good. All right. She looks healthy. And she gets to, enjoy sexy time with her husband. That's all great. But like, you need to balance that thing because, all these Californians and their wellness programs and now the testosterone shots, I feel like you have to be really careful and balance that right. Because like I said, it explains to me why sometimes she kind of gives off this masculine-esque energy. Not all the time, but sometimes. And now I know why. I love Gretchen. Do I love her? I think she's sweet. Well, this particular episode, she's a sweetheart to me. I love the way her hair is always perfectly coiffed. Just it's just like perfectly coiffed. Is that the word? It's just perfect. It's just always just like perfect in the front. Anyway, she also gets herself a testosterone shot, okay? And shows a big, real estate of her derriere, okay? Even the doctor was like, yeah, this was a bit too much. Anyway, I do like Gretchen. In the conversation, they talk about the same issues with Gretchen and Tamra and all that back and forth. And Emily is just like, she would like a situation where Gretchen and Tamra can reconcile, right? They can reconcile. So they talk about an upcoming beach day, that I'll talk about to just kind of gauge where Tamra is. Emily pointed out, I guess, a few nights before, Tamra and Gretchen gave each other a really big hug. So Emily's like, what do you think about that? So, Gretchen's like just being cautious. She's hopeful, but she's being cautious. Okay. Then we move on to a scene whereby, okay, we have Katie, okay, fairly new to the show, and Jenn go to sit down and have some tea. So as you know, in previous episodes, yes, I'm starting from episode 9. This is what I'm doing. Okay. Previous episodes, you could see, or the episode before, there was a lie detector test that was done, initiated by Emily and I believe Gina. And basically, this Katie woman lied, or allegedly lied, about her claims that Gretchen said that, drugs was found in a hospital toxicology report. All right. So Gretchen's like, no, I never told you that, Katie. Right. So basically, Katie's response to pretty much all of the polygraph tests was all like made her look like a liar, basically. All right. So anyway, I guess the sitting down with Katie and Jenn was for Jenn to really figure out what's going on, because you could tell Jenn really enjoys her relationship with Katie. And she said Katie's been very loyal to her. And, she even says to Katie, like, we've shared so much together. And I know in previous seasons, yeah, they certainly opened up about their lives, their divorces. So they got really, really close. And especially with, you know, um, what's her name? Jenn not having a good relationship with Tamra, having someone like Katie in her corner, I'm sure she really loved. Anywho, they're talking, and Jenn's like, I thought you are gonna bring some receipts to show me some stuff. And then Katie's like, yeah, she brought some receipts. So she brought some receipts, allegedly claiming that the polygrapher administrators are like paid actors. Okay. What level of connections does this Katie have and research that you done found that these polygraphers are paid actors? And she had all these printouts. I don't understand. I don't understand Katie. It's like I feel like with this Katie girl, I haven't known you long, Katie, but it's just looking a little suspect. Anyway, she has the receipt. She tells she tells Jenn, and Jenn's like, they're gonna think this is preposterous. Preposterous. They're not gonna believe this. Okay. And anyway, Katie's just like, I'm being set up. I'm being set up. But Jenn's like, anyway, proceeds to talk about, what? Basically, she's paraphrasing. Basically, she says, what? Katie, I really don't appreciate when you're making claims in front of the girls. You say that I know about it just to validate your claims, and Katie's just looking at him like, yeah, well, but I understand where Jenn is coming from, because she doesn't want to be in the middle of it, because she literally says, when you bring my name into your claims in front of the girls, I don't even know what you're talking about, Katie. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm side eyeing Jenn though. Like, if she's really your friend, why wouldn't you want to stand up for her in front of the other girls? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know about that friendship. And Jenn is a scaredy cat. Being Katie's friend is a liability for her. So she's like, listen, she's thinking long term. She's not trying to like stand up for this Katie woman. All right. Anyway, blah blah blah. The tea little get together ended on a very sour note. Jenn was like, just keep me posted. And Katie was like, yeah, I guess so. About what? Don't know. And she said the same thing. Jenn said the same thing. I just don't know about the strength of that friendship. I just don't know about the strength of that friendship. It's sad, but it is what it is. Do you think that Katie's lying? Do you think she was set up? I mean, Gina and Emily, initiated. Do we think that Gina would really set her up? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. We see Gina go to visit the house of her ex-husband, Matt, and Britt, his girlfriend, I believe. And basically, so sad, but her ex-husband had a heart attack. He looks like he's in his 40s. Man. I mean, I could be wrong, but he looks rather young. But anyway, Gina comes to their house basically saying that she's so thankful to Britt to, like, as soon as, she saw that her man is having a heart attack, she drove him straight to the hospital and they put a stent in his heart, right? And Gina's just so grateful to her ex-husband's new woman, and basically saying like, listen, if you didn't, respond so quickly, I would have had to communicate to my kids that they've lost their dad. So she's so grateful. And I love this co-parenting that Gina even has with her ex-husband and the ex-husband's new woman. It's so healthy. It's really healthy. And Gina really gives me, she don't like trouble. She wants balance. She even says in this segment that this really healthy co-parenting she has with her ex-husband and his woman, and just seeing how they all responded to his heart attack, just gives her more motivation that she wants to like have her current man. What's her man's name? What is her man's name? I forgot her man's name. Gina's man's name. Let me know in the comment section. Travis. This is why she wants Travis. Oh, look at my earring. This is why she wants Travis to like, have a healthy interaction with his wife that he's separate from, so they can have a smooth divorce. And so that God forbid anything happens to Travis, is what Gina's saying, that she has some legal rights to, influence what happens to Travis and even Travis's kids. But while Travis is just still legally married but separated, puts Gina in a very vulnerable position. And I understand that, right? But yeah, I love what she has with her ex-husband and the ex-husband's woman. So anyway, good luck, Gina, to try and make some peace with Travis and his, current legal wife. It is what it is. Anyway, Gina gives some nice gifts to the ex-husband, Matt, because he comes on the scene and he's looking good, but he's realizing he needs to eat healthy, he needs to slow down and really take care of himself, because this man looks young. Maybe, I tell you, like in his 40s, Anyway, we move on to the scene with Heatherdubrow, okay? And she's going for lunch. She sits with Tamra, and then Jenn joins the lunch, okay? It's a beautiful day, beautiful lunch, they order drinks and everything, and everything's going smooth, okay? And then Jenn proceeds to tell Tamra basically that Katie said that she believes that she was set up, all right? And the polygraphers are actually actors. And then Heather proceeds in her confessional to talk about, well, her husband is a doctor and also on television, trying to make a comparison. I don't know what Heather was trying to do. Heather be doing extra. She really tries to do extra. She really does. Anyway, in that conversation with Tamra and Jenn, and I'm forgetting the girl's name, Heatherdubrow. There's some communication between Tamra and Jenn to try and sort out their weird, dynamics. I really feel sorry for Jenn when she said, what, I kind of realized that I was the one that valued our friendship more than you, Tamra. And, she wants to apologize, I guess, something like that. And then Tamra was like, oh, it's okay, kind of thing. But isn't that sad, though, when you finally realize you're in a friendship and you're putting in more than the other person? I mean, listen, even in female friendships, watch out for red flags and pay attention to red flags. All right? Pay attention to red flags. Anyway, that got sorted out-ish. They gave each other a hug. This is Jenn and Tamra. And they both kind of promised each other just not to keep going back and forth. Tamra did say she's going to go to therapy. Please, Tamra, stay in therapy until the therapist even says you're good to go. Okay? Because I'm quite frankly tired of Tamra's hissy fits and outbreaks, and just like it's a bit much for someone who is in, I think she's in her 60s, isn't she? Let me know in the comment section if Tamra's in her 60s, early 60s or late 50s. It's a bit too much, and she recognizes she's got some unhealed areas. She's got some wounds, yeah, that she didn't deal with until now. So please don't leave your healing too late, okay? Because it can affect a lot of friendships and even marriage as well, Okay. All right. Next we go on to Emily and Shannon. Okay, and Gina going shopping. They don't even know what they're going shopping for. They're just hanging out. Okay, it's just something to do. The thing I just want to bring out about this particular section is that Emily gets a call from her son, Luke. I think he looks like about 7, maybe 9. And poor Emily, like she at some point starts crying because, you know, her and her husband are having issues parenting Luke. The boy don't want to go to school. He don't want to do nothing. He don't want to go out anywhere. So it was just so heartbreaking, but also brave for Emily just to like pour out her heart in front of Shannon and in front of Shannon and Gina, and basically just saying like she's having a tough time raising this child, and her husband, okay, this is Emily's husband, was even contemplating on divorce because both of them have this tension and different parenting styles of how to raise Luke. All right, I'm not really sure if Luke has any like mental health issues. That's not clear to me. I don't know if it was said in the previous episodes. Let me know, because since I'm starting on episode 9, okay? But yeah, it's definitely heavy on her, you know, really, really heavy. And to even think that it could be affecting their marriage, I thought that was like, oh my God, that's such a heartbreak. But if I was truly Emily's friend, I would ask her to go to therapy, you know, for a child therapist. And I for sure would be saying, are you praying with that child? I mean, I don't know what's tormenting him, but something is, okay? Jesus is the key. Okay. All right. We're going to move on from that. All right. So then we get to a short scene with Katie and her husband. I don't even know if they mentioned the husband's name. It just says Katie's husband. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, Kate is, you know, pining away for her friendship with what is her name? See, I'm forgetting the names here. Okay, what is that girl's name? Girl, it was Jen. You're gonna have to excuse me, okay? So Kate is pining with her husband about her friendship with Jen, okay? And you could tell that she's saddened and she's confused why Jen would actually choose to side with Gretchen and the other girls and just basically give a stiff arm and not have her back. Well, Jen, I mean, you're fairly new to the group, and you know, Kate, you're fairly new to the group, and Jen wants to still be on the show. So Jen is trying to be strategic. She's siding with the majority. And it doesn't help that, you know, like Jen said, allegedly you keep getting caught in lies. And then, interestingly, Katie's husband brings out his phone and shows, like, you know, phone records of his conversation with Slade, you know, Gretchen's husband. And in a nutshell, Katie's husband's like, Slade told him that, listen, Gretchen is basically going with the story that she did not have to go to the hospital after the naked, wasted, you know, event. All right, she did not have to go to the hospital. Mind you, you know, for a while, Gretchen did say that she had to go to the hospital, making Tamra look, well, basically making Tamra not look good to the media and everybody else. All right, like as if Tamra did something to her drink. All right. So, you know, Kate and the husband just can't understand why Slade and Gretchen is doing this, you know, like trying to change their story. It's just a hot mess. So anyway, that's that. All right. The reality is, Kate, you're new to the show. You shouldn't have got yourself involved. How about that? You should have never got yourself involved in the mess. You should just come as neutral, try and be friends with everybody. But Katie got into the mess and trying to, you know, take news from one place to another. And she's got herself burned. okay? For a newbie, all right? I think this is your second season. Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. You've learned your lesson. And she even said she doesn't even know if she's going to be around these women anymore. I mean, it is what it is. It's just kind of weird. I feel bad for her, but she really does, you know, I could, from what she was saying, she's missing her relationship with Jenn. All right, then we move on to the beach day with the girls. All right, that Jenn initiates. You see her with her boys, you know, there for a little while. And all the girls are there except Katie. Jenn did not invite her, and some of the girls are like shocked, but other girls are not. For a little bit, you get some of the girls, specifically Emily, and Gina and Shannon is always trying. They're such good team sportswomen. They place a little bit of volleyball with Jen's sons, right? So that was really cute, really fun. Some of the other girls are just kind of like standing there trying to look pretty, just standing there. I'm that girl that would actually play for a while. Yeah, I would actually play for a while and then I'll be like, leave me alone now. I've done my part. Let me eat. Like Shannon at some point, she was just, you know, going to get her cheese and her crackers. But she did participate. That's one thing I love about Shannon. She does participate. Even though she wasn't great, she participated. That's all that matters. But yeah, I was really surprised that Gina was really good. But she did say she was like a sports person, sports star when in her younger years. So I thought that was really nice. Anyway, at the beach day, we continue with the beach day. Heatherdubrow. You know, I have to say, one thing I love about Heather is how much she loves and pampers her family. I'll give her this. And she's very involved with her kids, and her kids don't mind. I love how connected she is with her kids. Anywho, she basically, you know, gets the attention of the women and talks about all the schools that her daughter had applied to, right? And they all seem to be like top-notch schools. Anyway, she then says, yeah, she didn't get in those schools, or she just didn't. Yeah, something about the schools. She didn't get into the schools, or she didn't want to go into those particular schools. And then she proceeded to say she actually got into Yale. Listen, I understand. Getting into Yale, you're a very proud mom. So I do love that for her. Yay, Heather. Yay, Heather, the bros, and your daughter. Okay, I forgot her name. So Tamara was like, yay. Tamara immediately proceeded to talk about her daughter, Sophia, having her first boyfriend. She was like, listen, Heather, you are not going to get all the shine with your daughter in Yale. I'm going to tell you about my daughter. Tara's so funny. It was like immediate pivot. Well, let me tell you about my daughter, Sophia. She has her first boyfriend. Go Sophia and Tamara. Yay. Yay. Then Shannon goes in next and proceeded to talk about her daughter. Okay. And, but her daughter was dating a guy, and the guy broke up with the daughter, and that's sad, right? And Shannon was like, you know, her daughter's coming down to join them at the beach. You know, she needs mama. She needs to be comforted. So that was really sweet. But I just found it so funny. But you know, Dubrow is funny. She's such a proud mom. She's like, and she going to Yale instead. And she looks around just to see the reaction. But she's such a proud mom. And good for her. Good for her. Whatever she did, however she encouraged her daughter, bravo. Like, seriously, bravo. Okay? So, what happened next? Okay? Then Emily talks about, oh no. I think, it was after when Shannon said about her daughter got broken up with, then Heather, with her, you know, quick wit, talks about, well, announces this is going to be Good News Friday. Good News Friday. And the good news, so Tamara was like, what? And then Heather's like, yeah, the good news, because, you know, Shannon said her daughter's going to join them at the beach, even though she broke up with somebody. And then Tamra's like, Tamra kind of says something like, that's not really good news. But Heather wants to reiterate, no, it's good news that she's flown down to be with her mom and she's going to join us at the beach. Then Heather's talking about, announces, okay, everyone have to, you know, go around the table and say something of good news. And then Emily talks about Shane's dad. Oh, Shane, that's it. That's her husband. I forgot his name before. So Shane, dad is came back home from the hospital, and Emily was talking about how like Shane was crying. This is the first time she's ever seen him cry in all the years they were married. But they're going through a lot as a family, you know, with Luke, you know, their son, just being hard to parent him, and then the dad. But I'm so happy that Shane's dad is home and healthy and will have an amazing recovery. That's what I hope for the family. And I love what Emily said. It's a win for the family. We love that here over here. All right. So then, you know, the girls go around the table to give, you know, some good news around the table. And I'm not going to bother with that. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with that anymore. But then Tamra basically faces Gretchen. And again, Tamra confronts Gretchen about the fact that she said, and Bravo did a clip about this, that Gretchen said that she went to the hospital after the Naked Wasted event many moons ago. And then Gretchen's like, if I said that, I must have misspoken because I didn't go to the hospital. And Gretchen keeps saying that she said that she felt like going to the hospital, not went to the hospital. But all these years, she said that she went to the hospital. So she was lying, you know, and made Tamra look really bad. So I don't blame Tamra for wanting to confront Gretchen. So anyway, both Tamra and Gretchen decide to leave the group and go and walk off on the beach to talk by themselves. And in a nutshell, really, they go back and forth of all the reasons why they are not in a good place. And basically, they've been saying bad things about each other as husbands. Like Tamra would say, Gretchen's man, Slade, is a deadbeat dad. Gretchen says that Tamra's husband, Eddie, is gay. I mean, it just goes on and on. I mean, leave the husbands out of it, though. Like, really, just leave the husbands out of it. It just makes things so much smoother, ladies. Let's leave the husbands out of it. Anyway, Tamra talks about, like, to Gretchen, I just want you to just let the past go. And basically, Gretchen got to a place where she was very vulnerable with Tamra and says, listen, your comments about Slade made him lose jobs. And then Tamra's like, I didn't know that. And Gretchen's like, 100%. No, when he went to go to get jobs to look after his kids, you know, the conversation about him being a deadbeat dad came up and he lost jobs 100%. I just don't understand how in reality that's like, yeah, you can make the comment, but why would an employer not employ you and you're trying to get a job to look after your kids? Could someone help me with that? Because I don't understand that. Maybe you know, maybe it's a character thing, you know, especially you're out there on social media, it's a character thing for these employers. I get it. But you couldn't even get a job in McDonald's? I mean, do they care? I mean, I guess they care, but really? You can get a job sweeping? Laying some bricks? Anyway, so when Gretchen told her that, and she looked obviously hurt and upset with Tamra, the loving little woman she is, she pulls her chair and she gets close to Gretchen and holds her hand. And I thought that was such a sweet moment. Seriously, I thought I was gonna cry. Because I was like, I love that humble, vulnerable, close moment between those women. And I really believe that touched Gretchen, and she's willing to just, you know, move on. And anyway, as that wrapped up, they said, should we hold hands? And as they proceed back to the other women, right? So they held hands and it started skipping towards the other women. And the women are like, oh my God, what? Shocked. They're just shocked. Like, what, 10-minute conversation, now you're close now? So Shannon is a trip. Shannon's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be like the bad person in this group, because basically she's like, I'm not falling for this. You know, she's looking shocked and surprised, like, okay, you're friends now. And then Shannon proceeds to ask Gretchen, is this like step one, or kind of like step one of you getting close, or is this like it? So Gretchen's like, yeah, this is step one. And then there's conversations about how many, I think Gina said that, how many steps are there, you know, for this reconciliation? But at least, you know, Tamara really has tried, and Gretchen has conceded for the time being. So then in Shannon's confessional, Shannon says, I guess the producer asked her something. Shannon's like, this ain't gonna last. She's like, this ain't gonna last. And then Emily's so funny. She was like, yeah, this is kind of like a gallon of milk with a 2-week shelf life. Okay. So that's not, they don't think that's gonna last. But we'll see as the season progresses. We will see. Okay. So that was really fun. That was really nice. Okay. And then Shannon's daughter comes to join. So that was really nice. Everybody's really welcoming. And then Emily says, I think her name's Sophia. Emily says, Sophia, your mom, Shannon, said that you just, you know, broke up with somebody or you're dating somebody. And then the daughter's like, oh, you're putting out all my business out there. You're airing out all my dirty laundry. And then Emily, just trying to make the daughter feel, you know, better, she decides to start a game discussion to ask the ladies to share their worst breakup story. Okay. So we start with Gina, and Gina says about her divorce. Okay. And Gina in her confessional was like, I don't think we need to be sharing our worst breakup situations with this young lady, you know, because she's like, almost the whole group have gone through a lot of breakup. But anyway, she's a good sport, Gina. She says, you know, even though they had a divorce, it all ended well, right? It all ended well. Then we go on to Heather sharing a story where she was like in was it middle school or something like that, and the boy broke up with her, and then she says that she found out that he was gay, so that kind of made it better. Okay, Heather. And then Tamara, oh God. Tamara then shares her story. She was like 16 or something like that, living together with her boyfriend. She comes home and she basically finds out her boyfriend is with another woman in the room. She gets a knife and basically tears up the leather jacket of her boyfriend at that time. And then the boyfriend sees her with that big knife and got scared as heck, okay? And basically drove out in the car. Okay, drove out with the car with the other girl. So you know not to mess with Tamara, okay? And this is what I like about Jen. Jen was like, yeah, this is why Tamara needs therapy. And I concur. Eddie, watch out. If you ever try and leave this Tamara, I already know he already knows he will get a headache from her. He already knows he'll get a headache from her. And that's pretty much where the episode ends, all right? They do show some flashes of upcoming episodes in Amsterdam. So I'm really excited to see that. So yeah, all right? And what did I gain from this particular episode? I like what Shannon perspective is about her friendship with Tamara. Just keep things indifferent. Just keep things cordial. You can have, you can like have fun with certain friends, but if they've already shown you their red flags over and over and over again, like to me, you're someone that's toxic that just keeps going back to that toxic friendship. You know what I mean? We talk about this with like, if females are with males or males are with females and it's toxic, but even with friendships, you have to also use discernment. You also have to be really smart. You have to love yourself. Even though, yes, Shannon and Tamra have a long history, some strong roots, sometimes you really just have to just be like, yeah, this relationship is not healthy for me, but I can in certain elements have fun with you, but I don't have to be so invested in you as much by sharing everything with you. This is at least what I got from this. um I do like how vulnerable Emily was about her marriage and her kids, parenting there, because that's really hard. I do love the example of Gina and her ex-husband and healthy co-parenting, even with the new woman. So that's really healthy. And again, yay to Heather Dubrow and her access into Yale now through her daughter. Yay, Dubrows. All right, you know what? Before you leave, do me a favor. If you would like the video, if you got something from it, okay, give me a like, all right? Remember to subscribe so you don't miss like the new recaps that I do, all right, for this season. And feel free to share with your friends, all right? And until next time, stay blessed and have a fabulous day.